With total disrespect shown for paintwork at Oran Park, the Commodore Cup promised to get even more scary with the extra speed promised at Lakeside. For Tim Pearce, a man in his first season in motorsport, the prospect was daunting.
So tell me, what do you think of Lakeside from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, you feel a good swelling in the underpants, that's for sure.
What may intimidate Pearce even more is an on-track meeting with Christian de Goston.
Christian seems to like racing panel to panel very much.
It's something he'd like to pass on. Yeah, I'll leave it at that as well.
If you're not racing Duco to Duco in the Commodore Cup, you're likely to be called a wimp. But spare a thought for David Gittius. He drives one of his Strathfield car radio Holdens, but entrusts the other to Christian de Goston.
I seem to avoid it all right. Christian had a bit of an ordinary week at Oran Park, but no, it's always close. I probably tend to take it a bit easier because they're mine, but Christian doesn't give an inch, and I'm sure if I was racing against him, he wouldn't give me an inch either.
I got a pretty good job to do. I like to keep Strathfield happy, you know, but I hate losing too. It's a real pain on the backside. So, like a little bit of rubbings, you know, doesn't go astray. It happens with this in this form of category. So, unfortunately, you can't get around it sometimes.
These 4-speed, 4.2-litre machines generate more than 300 horsepower. And off the kink in the main straight, they'll hit the class limit of 7,000 RPMs at around 220 kilometres an hour. After round one, the drivers to beat will be Jeff Emery and Greg Waters, fastest in qualifying in 59.55 seconds. This is a sample of the upcoming Commodore Cup action. Before we go, though, a couple of questions answered.
Now let's talk about Christian. Is he very helpful on the track?
No, not at all.
Now, are you going to be any quieter today?
I'll try.
Race 2 of the Commodore Cup, and this is how they'll line up. Greg Waters in pole position. Beside him, de Goston. Then Emery, Parker, Gittis, Holdsworth, Walker, Pearce, Happendell and Mullen. Interesting grid. Expect plenty of action off the start from those two there, Waters and de Goston. They've had a fantastic tussle so far this year. Expect more as we get set for a start. Red light is on, and away go the Commodores. A bit of wheel spin to get them going too, and a great start there from de Goston. Bursts out in front of Waters.
You've got to get into the first corner in front in this championship. I can tell you the cars are very, very evenly matched. They run on a controlled tyre. Similar models, obviously varying between VH, VC, VK Commodores and the like around that same vintage, and they all file out of the carousel with a bit of oversteer.
Brisbane's beautiful Lake Kawangba in the background here at Lakeside Raceway. And those threatening rain clouds haven't developed into much. Oh, gee. I was going to say we haven't had many slippery conditions, but all of a sudden, something that looks very slippery.
Certainly there was a tap there was contact and a big oversteer moment. Not a good place to have a big slide, particularly on cold tyres in the first lap, but they both rejoined.
Well, Christian de Goston leading the way at the moment from Greg Waters as they come around into the straight. And de Goston building on that lead at the moment, but back from there, it's a dogfight.
Looks like Parker there. Oh, there's contact right into the kick.
Oh,
Emery turned Parker around.
He's going to come back on. He's actually going to come back on under control.
What a moment that was. Absolutely sideways at 100 miles an hour across the grass through the highest speed turn on the circuit. Let's have a look. Emery's on the right of your screen. Contact there. He hits the back of Parker. They both sort of squeezed each other for room there. Parker came off second best. Completely in control, though. And I'm sure I've seen him in the movie Ronin, Mark, doing some stunt driving.
That was just brilliant. Well, he averted disaster there. The bad news is, I guess, that sent a lot of mud and debris up onto the circuit at that high-speed straight.
That will be very interesting. There should be oil flags or a flag out to show the drivers that there is some debris on the circuit. And you won't want to run across mud through that particular part, although having seen that, maybe you can.
Well, a great recovery. Christian de Goston still leads them.
And the second Strathfield car of David Giddis, and there is Parker, who has resumed. Probably the heart rate's still up a little bit after that moment, but he's now focusing on the back of the Strathfield. Oh, look, in fact, not focusing, giving it a nice little tap, so hasn't slowed him down. He's still pressing on, looking for a way through.
Those two cars almost merging. That was very, very tight. And as you said, Cam, it is going to be tight racing. Not only are these cars so close, but big Commodores are sort of hard to overtake on the Lakeside circuit.
Yeah, very much so, Mark, and you can see that they tend to lurch around a little bit. Bit of a brake lock up there from Parker, so he has lost the back of the Giddis Commodore slightly, has dropped off a little bit. But they use every little bit of road. They're a big, heavy machine.
Back into the main straight once again.
This is perfect for De Gostin, although looks like Waters has closed up.
This is a beauty in battle up in front. Waters and De Gostin, and Waters is not giving him an inch. He's really holding on tight to De Gostin.
These two Strathfield cars, De Gostin and Giddis, run obviously as a team, but usually run fairly close together. Giddis is a little bit further back in the pack. He actually owns both the cars. There is De Gostin leading the race, and Waters has closed up into the carousel there. So still enough laps for him to get by if he can find a way past De Gostin.
Well, that's the question as this race runs its course. The lap counter counting down. Is there enough time for Greg Waters to find a way past Christian De Gostin? Strathfield Commodore showing a brilliant way at the moment.
Well, De Gostin's certainly driving nice and smooth. He's pretty much has his backside in any race car he can drive this year. He had a run in the Future Tours at Oran Park, but he's driving very clean, very precise, got a good start, and is looking quite comfortable out in front. Back in the pack, the battle is still going on here between Murray Walker, that actually leads him, not the Murray Walker that would normally be calling a race like this.
And Mark Parendell sitting behind him in the, well, emerald-coloured Commodore, who is just losing a bit of traction in the rear at the moment. And some more. He's gone. No, he's not.
Gee, some good car control there. 300 horsepower through the back wheels in these Commodores, and completely sideways, but he hung on to it.
And it's just let Jeff Parker come through there as well. Back up to our leaders now. One more lap to go. In fact, half a lap at this point. De Gostin leading Waters. And Greg Waters is going to need to make his move very, very soon.
Only 2 corners to go. Pretty much single file from here on in, Mark. Very hard to make a pass unless you get a very, very good run onto the front straight. He's got a good run there down the hill.
It could be a dash onto the final straight. Let's see if they go nose to nose. He's really giving it a shake, Greg Waters. Have a look at this. He's put the foot down, but it won't be enough to pip De Gostin. He's staying right with him. Can he get past? Oh, this is close. Gee, De Gostin from Waters.
Well, Christian, and we see Emery coming across the line for third. Looks like Dave Giddis back there in fourth with Parker fifth. Christian certainly squeezed him there a little bit on the last lap, but certainly when you're making a run down to the checkered flag, you do anything to keep someone behind.
Well, from start to finish today, it was Christian De Gostin in race 2, then Greg Waters in second, had his chance but couldn't quite get past De Gostin, then Emery, Giddis, Mullen, Pearce, Parker, Walker, Holdsworth and Papendale.